Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Shilpa Data Insights.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we will be covering one more interview question that is asked in one of the big MNC's company. If you are following my playlist of this particular big data interview series, then you might have learned a lot of interview questions already, but there are many more to go. So make sure you watch the complete playlist, which will help you in understanding the concepts and also cracking the interview questions. And do not forget to practice the questions because practice is the key and it will help you in cracking the interviews. So, this particular question was asked by one of my students in the interview process itself. So therefore, I'm sharing this question with you. I hope you like this video. So if you like the video that I'm creating, then do support my channel, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends so that I get motivated and I create more videos related to big data and data engineering. So without any delay, let's get started with our next interview question in this particular playlist.
So let's start with this interview question that we have. This is a very famous interview question that has been asked in multiple companies, but I have written it like Globant, in which it is also asked. But this similar type of questions are asked basically in interviews, and this is one of the famous interview question, right? So if you will see, this has been asked in Globant. So let's get started and let's see what the question is. I will attach my cluster and I will import the functions also. If you want, you can import the functions that you only need for this particular code. That is the best practice, but for the demo purpose, I'm just going ahead and creating and using all my functions. I'm importing those from the PySpark. So what is the question? The question is, I have a data set. The data set is having the name and the address. This is my complete address. So there are only two data here. One is name, second is my address in one record. This is my name and this is my address, right? So my output, what I want as output is like this. The name should be in separate column, the street should be in separate record, and city should be in separate record. So name, street, and city I want. This is one record, right? But I want it as separate columns. Street should be in one column, city should be in one column, name should be in another column. And I want to go ahead and get the data like this. If I go ahead and create a data, let's first create the data and visualize how the data looks like. So this is my data. If you will see, this is my name and this is my address. All the address is in one line, that is one record is there, right? And there are no different columns, so you don't need know which street it is, which city it is. It is difficult to go ahead and analyze and get the data from this particular column. So our main aim is to get the street and city in separate columns. Now let's create the data frame first. If you don't know how to create the data frame, I will recommend you to watch my video in the Spark Basic to Advanced, in which I have explained to you how to create the data frame and how to create schemas in different ways. So my data frame is ready. If you will see the in the data frame, this is my two columns, name and address. Name is a string, address is also a string, right? It is not a JSON data, but it is a string data, right? That is a column data type is string, but actually it's a JSON type of data. Now what we need to do is, we have a function called from JSON, and that using that from JSON, we will be going ahead and getting the schema of this particular column. So let me first do a help on from JSON so that you understand what the documentation says. If I do a help from JSON, you see here, if I go a little down here, this is my from JSON column, from JSON function. What it takes a column name, it takes a schema, and it returns a PySpark.sql.column. And these are some optional parameters, right? So it will take the column name, it will take the schema, and it will return a JSON PySpark.sql.column. That is, it passes a column containing JSON string into a class map type with class string type or class struct type, right? So let's see an example here. Here is my data. Okay, I'll show you a data which makes sense here. Let's say this is my data, right? This is the df dot value is there, right? And this is my schema. So these two things you need to pass it as an argument in the from JSON. One is your, here if you will see, one is your column, second is your schema, right? That you need to pass, and then it will give you the column as the column data type. So what I will do is I will go ahead and convert the string to my data set of JSON. I'll pass it and I will parse it and I will make it as a struct data type. Why I'm trying to make it as a struct data type? Because I want to get the elements from the address. That is a struct data type. Now let's see how we can do that. So I have df dot with column. Using with column, I will create a new column called past. In this column, I will be providing the expression here. So the expression will be from the JSON function. I will be passing my column name. What is my column name? It is address. In this column name, I will be passing the schema because the second parameter is what? It is schema. So the schema here is street and my city. Both of them are string, right? So I'll mention street as my string and my city also as string. You can pass this in different format. I'm passing it as a string. Okay, so here I have my another column called df1. So df1 data frame is equal to, so I'll display this. So if I will display this, you see the next column that was created here is from the JSON, but it's a struct type with street as string that we passed and city as string, but it is a struct type. Now this was what? This was a string data type. If you want, you can go ahead and expand this. You will see name is string, address is string, but past is what? It converted that string to a struct data type, which is a complex data type in PySpark. And from that struct data type, we can go ahead and fetch the street and the city. So let's move on to the next step, how we can fetch the street and the city. So I will go ahead and create another data frame out of this. I'll select the required columns that I need. Let's say select my column name, and after the column name, I will be selecting the past column so that you can visualize it. Column past, right? And from the column past, let me first select this and show it to you. df2 dot display. This is my column. Now what I want the street and I want the city. So how will I do it? From this column past, I will do a dot street. In this street, from this past, I will be getting the street. Okay, let me alias this as the column street. Okay, so if I run this, you will see it has created one more column called street. But what we need one more column called city. So what I will do is I'll do the same thing. I'll parse using this column. I'll get my city element, that is the string element, and I will alias this by the column name that I want to give it. So I will have my column as name, street, and the city. So if you see, first of all, it was like this. The address was in a string data type, which was difficult to parse. If you give this to a business analyst, he will not be able to actually parse it, or he may find it difficult to parse it. You usually don't give it like this. If you want, you need the street and city. That is a requirement by the business, that you need it in separate columns and get in which street and city John is located, right? So for that, as this is a string data type, you cannot pull the street. So you have to convert it into a struct data type. Using the struct data type, how will you convert? Using the from JSON. It's actually a JSON. Using a JSON schema, if you put that, then it will convert into struct, and each element data type it will give, that is street is string and city is string. Once it is done, then you can go ahead and get the element from this particular column called past. So how will you do it? Just mention the column name dot your element that you want to get, that is your street, and alias it with the column name so that you have a proper column name in order to get the data, right? This is how you actually pass the JSON. And if JSON is not provided, it's a string. First, convert it into a JSON and make it as a struct type, and from there you get the elements. I hope you have understood how exactly you will go ahead. First of all, create a data frame. From the data frame, how will you get the data type in a struct format? Using the from JSON, you mention the schema and the column name, and with the help of with column, you create another column on the top of which you go ahead and get the elements that you want with the help of the dot operator, and you display that result after storing it into a data frame. So this was the complete question that was asked in Globant. This type of question is also asked in other companies. Make sure you remember these keywords of from JSON, with column, and also how to get an element from the JSON. If you want to know more about how to flatten the JSON, I have created a particular video of flatten JSON. I will pin it in I button. You can watch that as well. It is an extensive video in which I've explained, and a very complicated question was there, which I have explained you. So you go ahead and watch it as well so that you know how to also flatten your JSON. I hope you have liked this video. Then hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you have a good day.